Welcome, everybody, to the 2024 Under the Radar NFL picks. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. The concept is pretty simple today. Myself and Jim and Corbin have compiled a list of some things that we think are under the radar a little bit. Jim and I are going to present our props and our bets to Corbin. Corbin's going to grade them on a scale of 1 to 10, whether he thinks they're ridiculous, profitable. Just it's up to him. We've not shown them. We've not shown him these. So it's just his knee jerk reaction. And at the end, he gives us one, and we get to. And
So
we get
depending
to.
how badly I judge theirs, they're then going to
Yeah,
judge me. So
exactly. Yeah. So these are props that should be available on most books. A couple of them are very specific to one book, but we'll go over that to everybody. So real quick, Jim, how are your team, the Jets? I don't know. How are they looking going into the season? Are you feeling good? Feeling not good about your
I
Jets?
feel great. I feel great. I'm not one of these Jets fans that's going to be like, oh, we're going to win the Super Bowl. Like, how about we make the playoffs first? Can we start with that, or make it to week 6 with an upright quarterback? That'd be great. But I think I think the defense is going to be something special. Defensively, they're going to be fine. Did you see the stat on them? If they just scored 17 points last season, they would have made the playoffs.
I saw
17 points in
I
today's NFL.
I saw I saw they had
crazy.
11 passing touchdowns, and they were the only team in the league who did not have a running back get a rush attempt from the 1 yard line,
It's
which is mind blowing. That
it's
is
great.
truly mind blowing. Corbin, Packers. What's your kind of synopsis of your Packers?
I don't really pay attention to preseason in the slightest. The only thing that recently came out was AJ Dillon is obviously out for the season. Not sure if you guys saw
Yep.
that, but sounds like a pretty serious injury. Not quite sure how he's picked it up, but just means Josh Jacobs is going to get even more work. So already expected him to get a lot of work. I think he's going to get even more, quite honestly. I guess I'm quite confident that Love in the second half of the year really kicked on. So I'm hoping another off season, more practice, hopefully be on the page with his young wide receivers even more. I can only see progression from here. So
My Colts, our season basically depends on the health of Anthony Richardson. If he's healthy, they're going to be one of the more exciting offenses. I really believe that. I think if he's healthy, Taylor is going to have a lot of lanes opened up. The wide receiving core as a unit is good. Pittman, I wouldn't say is like a superstar or anything, but Richardson has been throwing to downs quite a bit in the preseason. Our defensive line is healthy. They should be pretty good. Our offensive line is finally healthy. They should be pretty good. Our secondary is absolute trash. Absolute hot garbage. There will be more than one prop fading my Indianapolis Colts secondary. I will tell you that. I remember Corbin. Our very first 5% play was in Week 1 last
it
year.
was.
Trevor Lawrence over 1.5 touchdowns against the Colts, and I think he had it early in the second quarter.
Yeah, it was quite easy.
It was pretty good.
So we're gonna fade Andy's. We're gonna fade Andy's Colts secondary. We're gonna fade Corbin's Packers rush defense, and we're gonna fade the Jets defense against tight ends. That's
there you go.
There
It's
you go.
easy.
Show's over. See you guys.
This betting thing is really easy. So, thanks everyone for joining with us. We're going to get into our plays here. If you guys could just hit the like button. If you have not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and do that now. And if you haven't joined the Discord, what are you waiting for? We have some incredible channels on there. I stayed up and watched cricket for the first time in my life ever and I cashed. That was the other great thing.
That's even better.
It turned out my very first cricket game I watched was one of the most exciting ones ever. Like everyone in the channel was like, "You've never seen a finish like this. This is a mayhem. It's absolutely crazy." So that's just one of many sports channels. Of course, we got college football, NFL, and everything else that you need in there. So join the Discord channel. All right, let's get into it. I had to call out a couple of people here. I was doing a spot on Wager Talk today on Friday. These are actual screenshots of people that put in the chat. So, all right. I was giving out one of the bets that I'm getting ready to, and I will have bet this with my own money. So Andrew says, "Such a weird bet." Yeah, that's kind of what we do here. And you
Weirder the better.
you may say it's weird. we think that's where the value is. Those are the bets that are right up our alley. And regarding the exact same bet, I actually like Benny, but he says he can't deal with the future. Who wants to wait 3/4 of the year to cash a single bet that's minus 165?
Me.
I do. I would
I
love.
love futures.
I love futures. I do too. First off, this is an NFL bet. It's not 3/4 of the year. It's 17 weeks. And minus 165, that is a 60% return. So if you put $1,000 on this bet and it hits, you get a 60% return. There's not too many other businesses where you can get that kind of return. So, yeah. So those of you that are part of the winning in the shadows, this is the mentality we need to break and not have here. So, all right, Corbin, are you ready for the very first bet?
I'm ready.
I'm going to go first. My first bet is going to be Rashee Rice on DraftKings. They have 5+ touchdown catches. This was minus 135 a week ago. I didn't think he was going to be suspended. They have come out and said he's not going to be suspended to start the season, and they have left this line at minus 135. Corbin, he had 7 last year in his rookie year.
Yep.
He is the number 1 wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. Hollywood Brown is not going to start game 1. Who knows how long that guy is going to be out. Mahomes only passed for 27 touchdowns last year. Surely that's going to go up. That's his second lowest of his career. I don't see a world where Rashee Rice doesn't get to 5+ touchdowns. It's his second year in the offense. We kind of expect Travis Kelce to take a little bit of a step back. It doesn't look like he's going to be suspended, and he had 7 in his rookie year. This is a shoe-in for me. Rashee Rice to have 5+ touchdown catches. Scale of 1 to 10. How good do you like this one?
I'll give it like a 6.57. The only comment that I can give is I'm sure you factored this in, but obviously they have I've forgotten his name now, the quick wide receiver that they drafted, and they obviously signed Juju Smith-Schuster recently, or re-signed him again. I guess that could that be why it's only 5, considering he got 7 because of slightly more competition maybe this year?
Well, I think you're thinking of Valdez. Was it MVS who got signed with the Chiefs? I know you're talking about
the quick one that everyone thinks is suddenly going to be like Tyreek Hill from week 1.
Okay, well, the wide receiver from Texas, he's good, Worthy. Like
that's him.
He's a speedster. We all think he's fast, everything, but again, he's a rookie speedster that's kind of a one-trick pony. And Hollywood Brown is out. This is the clear-cut number 1 wide receiver. For if I were to just say number 1 wide receiver for the best quarterback in the NFL,
True,
5 touchdowns, that's all you need. So, yeah, of course, Chris would know Worthy. Chris literally has the Texas logo on his avatar.
That's it.
Okay, so all right, you're gonna give it a 6.5.
I'll give it a 6.5.
6.5. All right, it's ludicrous rating. Absolutely ludicrous rating.
I'm scared now because I have that rated higher than a 6.5. It's
just sitting there.
Oh god, the pressure, guys. Come on.
No. I like the harsh rating. These plays got to be like slam dunk, no brainers. So, all right. So, Jim, you're gonna go with our boy Kyle Juszczyk, and this isn't a season long. Like one individual play. You're going to talk about his playing his weekly receptions every week.
I mean, how could you not like playing a fullback with the number 44 on one of the better offenses when all the attention is everywhere else? Look, here's where it comes down to. Juszczyk last season had the lowest reception total that he's had in 6 years. Okay. And I think a lot of that comes from the fact that the new shiny toy in town was Christian McCaffrey. They gave McCaffrey a ton of workload. So let's go back. Andy, you spoke the other week about McCaffrey's total, right? We were talking about Mitchell being his backup. Well, now Mitchell's out. Okay. We still want to give McCaffrey a rest. Where do we go with the football to recreate these 4-yard runs, 5-yard runs? You go to the little short dump off passes. And without Trent Williams there, who still has not reported to camp, and I doubt is going to be ready to fully rock in the beginning of the season, I think the ball is going to come out of Purdy's hands pretty quick here. The beauty of this play, if they line it, that's always the question with Juszczyk. Sometimes you get lines, sometimes you just don't. But if they do, it's to get a reception, one singular reception. It could be -7 yards, doesn't matter. He's just got to catch the ball. He's sure-handed. Juszczyk throughout his career, 14, 16, 12, 16, 17, 16, 17, and 14 receptions. That equates to darn near catch a game, right? We add the numbers up with the games in the season. I think he's going to be involved more in the offense this year, more so than anything, just because them trying to keep McCaffrey healthy. They're already banged up at running back. I think this is a very good under the radar play. Just if they line it at a half reception, that's great. 1.5, a little sketchy, right? If we can get under just one reception a week for Juszczyk, I think you play that for the season and you most certainly come out on top with a winning record.
All right, Corbin, what do you think? What's your rating?
I'm gonna give that an 8. I really like that one. I'm very much. Again, I have to say it does. We do need to know what the line is every week. If it's 1.5, it's suddenly not an 8. If it's at half, just to have one reception, then it's nearer the 8 or 9. I really like that. I thought, again, similar theme to what you just said. I think they're gonna rest McCaffrey as much as possible this year. So I could quite easily see Juszczyk getting involved way more. I also like that he doesn't really seem to get that injured. He's quite durable. So
very, yes.
You guys like the fullback receptions total better than the number one wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. I get it.
We said we like weird.
This is the monster you created, Andy.
I know. I should be enjoying it. I should be enjoying it. All right, here's the -165 prop that I was told you don't want to wait that long. 49ers will score a touchdown in every game. This is a -165. They scored a touchdown in every game in 2023, including all playoff games, including the one that Josh Johnson had to start. And then Brock Purdy had to come in. He was like hobbling around and needed surgery. They still scored a touchdown in that game. In their 5 losses, their lowest point total was 17. They're getting 2 touchdowns a game, even when they lose. They scored a touchdown in every game in 2022, including the games that Jimmy Garoppolo started and the one game that Trey Lance started. They have scored a touchdown in every game that Brock Purdy has started. They have hit this in 5 straight years. The only times they have not scored a touchdown when Kyle Shanahan was their head coach was in his very first year when Nick Mullins was the starting quarterback. That's how far back you have to go to find when Kyle Shanahan was coaching games for the 49ers where they did not score a touchdown. I need him to score just one touchdown. Could be defensive, offensive, doesn't matter. In each game, it's -165. I love this play. Corbin, what do you think?
Oh, this is a slam dunk 10. I love every single. I love. This one hits the spot. This one really hits the spot. I love this play. I will say, actually, I just wanted to counteract. You know the comment about waiting all year for a -165. We always say this is like long term and all of this stuff. You look back in a year, you don't go, oh, I won that bet over 6 months and that money is completely different. It's still the same money as long as you manage your bankroll and do all of that. That makes sense. When it doesn't make sense is when you have the people just betting various amounts each week and don't actually have a set bankroll. If you have some kind of structure, it makes no difference where the money or the wins come from or how long they take to come. But yeah, I could quite easily, like, I think this is a slam dunk, quite honestly. I love this play. So
yes, I got my 10. I didn't think this was going to be the one, but I have already played this with my own money. Absolutely, this is one that is absolutely a play. All right,
I think their toughest. I love the play as well. I think their toughest test is week 1. If they score a touchdown against the Jets, I think they're
it may be. It may be. And they're just their first quarter. When I went back and went through all their game logs, they always score in the first quarter.
Oh, it's always the first half. I remember we used to take their first half team totals over because they start red hot. It's because they come in with that. They already know like the first 3 drives worth of plays. They've already practiced them all week. They know what they're doing. So.
Absolutely. So 49ers will score a touchdown drive. All right, Jim, we're going to you. We're going to another unlikely, and you're right. These are totally up our alley. These are guys that are not on everyone's radar. We're going to look at the vaunted Jets tight end game with Jeremy Ruckert and his weekly receptions. Jim, what did you find here?
So this was something I rode last season, and to end the year, he went 5 of 6 over 1.5 receptions to end the year. Now, let's look at his totals here for a second. So his totals last year, he only had 16 receptions, but he was not a part of this offense until those final 6 weeks of the season. So he saw a ton of targets, 22 targets in 6 weeks for a backup tight end. Tyler Conklin is the most certainly number one, has a great relationship with Rodgers already. He's going to get his. But Jeremy Ruckert is in the 3rd year, okay? He's a 3rd-round draft pick. They have already come out and stated that it's make or break for him. He's either going to be on the roster next year or they're going to ship him out. He's 6'6". Rodgers loves when all the attention, and Corbin can vouch for this being a Packers fan. How many times did we see Bobby Tonyan with a 3-reception game, 2-reception game when you thought it was all going to Adams? This is just a sneaky play. To add to this, I believe that the Jets are going to run the hell out of the football to try to protect Rodgers. Therefore, more double tight end sets will probably be going. A lot more play action, I think, also benefits the tight ends running off that. I like it. If we can get 1.5, again, just like the previous play, if it's 2.5, I'm out. But if I can get half a reception, like 1 reception or 2 receptions for this guy, I'm very intrigued to see what happens. And if we get an injury to Tyler Conklin, this guy is the clear-cut number 2. They have nobody behind him tight end-wise. Their other tight ends are on the practice squad. They're not carrying 3. So we could also see Ruckert line up for the fullback position, get a couple extra touches there because they're not carrying a fullback right now. So we're, with these oddball plays, I'm looking at snaps. I want to see if these guys are on the field. And it looks like Ruckert's going to be on the field way more than he was last season.
All right, Corbin, what do you think here? Jeremy Ruckert, weekly receptions.
You're not gonna like this one.
I knew you were going to.
I'm gonna go at like a 5. I think out of all of them so far, that's the lowest. But I do have my reasons for this one. I will counteract it. You're right. Rodgers loves his tight ends, but my problem with this is he might. In Green Bay, he always had his favorite, which was Tonyan, and all the other tight ends rarely got a look in. He very much narrows in on just his favorites, and he will not throw it anywhere else, no matter what they do. Now, if that turns out to be Rucker, then sure, that's then going to be great. But it's very hard at this stage to tell who he's going to have bonded with, not bonded with, and he just has his favorites. And the start of the season's really going to set this up. If he starts like week 1 and week 2, he goes through this, I could see you playing it for the rest of the year. But it's one of those I would rather wait and see than commit to right now, personally.
I like it.
All right, Jeremy Ruckert, weekly receptions. Okay, you thought Jeremy Ruckert was random. I think I think I got a good one here. First quarterback of the season to throw for 400 plus yards, Sam Darnold at 30 to 1. Here's why. I'm shooting my shot here. Just one shot, kid. He plays the Giants in week 1, who are a bottom 1 secondary, maybe bottom 2. Here's the other thing. Sharp Football has their secondary rank last, but their front 7 ranked 12th. I don't know why Minnesota would even attempt to run the ball with Aaron Jones here. There is no film for what the Vikings offense is going to look like under Sam Darnold. Addison does not look like he's going to be suspended for the first game. Justin Jefferson is 100% healthy. And they have the 1 o'clock game on Sunday. So there's only going to be 2 games played before then. So if he throws for 400 yards on the Sunday game at 1 o'clock against the Giants, this is a 31 to 1 cash. The Chiefs are playing the Ravens. Neither one of those quarterbacks are throwing for 400 yards. Then the Jets play on what? The Friday. I don't see 400 yards in that one. So I only got 2 games to get to this Sunday, 1 o'clock. Justin Darnold's it is going to be his best shot to have a monster game, and I get to fade the Giants secondary, who is worse than my Indianapolis Colts. 30 to 1. I got to take a little sprinkle on it. Corbin, what do you think?
It's one of those I like the value, but I can't see it happening. I'm gonna have to score it. I'm gonna have to score it a 2.
A 2. It's a 30 to 1 long shot. I'm okay with a horrible ranking here.
Yeah, it's just one of those. I actually think I could actually see them running the ball with Aaron Jones. I know you said like it wouldn't make sense, but I could still see them doing it. He's the shiny new toy. I reckon they're gonna test him out. I think this could turn into a defensive type mess, quite honestly, with both offenses just struggling and them just kind of tiptoeing each other along. I don't see this being particularly high scoring or a highly offensive game, but I do see the path in which he could get there. So
Yeah, and the Vikings defense was not great at certain times, so we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see. Come on, Sam Darnold. If he doesn't get it week one, I mean, this play's cooked. I mean, he's not doing it at any other game this season. But all right, let's take a look at another one for Jim Roquan Smith. The number is combined tackles 155 and a half. Jim, what do you like about Roquan Smith besides everything? He's awesome.
He's in my opinion, he's becoming the best, if not already, middle linebacker in the league. He's well versed in everything. He does not come off the field. I know season total on a middle linebacker, injury concerns. The guy's been pretty healthy though. He really has. You're gonna miss a game or two here, but the production has just been there. So we're looking at 155.5. He had 158 last season. Now here's why I came to this number. He had 155 last season while playing alongside Patrick Queen, who came in with 133. That's a ton of production from your two middle linebackers. Patrick Queen's gone. He's in Pittsburgh. So Roquan is now the guy and the only guy. Yes, they have a couple other role players, but this guy's not going to come off the field. He's going to be out there on coverage downs. And again, this is combined tackles. This is not solo tackles. The all-time record in 1993 was 214 by Perry Nickerson. So it's well off, being a Hall of Fame season at 155. I have this at about 160. We've had some guys hit 160s, 169 since then. So I think this number is feasible. It all comes down to the health, but I can't ignore the fact that this Ravens defense lost 133 tackles and assists with Patrick Queen going. I think Kyle Hamilton could eat into this. He'll be around the ball. But look, if they meet at the same time, we're still getting credit for Roquan getting that tackle. So the production is there. The health has been there. He's going to be the guy on defense, and he's going to have to carry this defense. He is the centerpiece to this unit now with all the changeover over the past couple of years. So give me the over 155.5 at minus 110 on the season.
All right, Corbin.
Oh, I'm kind of on the fence about this one, quite honestly. I'm probably going to have to go around the 6.5 range. Again, it's one of those, it's quite, if he misses just 1 or 2 games, it's kind of short. I feel like he's going to have to, we're basically relying on him to be healthy the entire year. And I know he has been, but that always makes me almost question it slightly. Like traditionally, you wouldn't expect a player to be fit every single season. So if they've just come off a good one, the chances might be slightly higher that he misses a couple of games, and then that just hurts any overs. I like the point about Queen not being there anymore, but there's just so many other players that could step into that or stuff. I know he's the main player, but it's one of those kind of, it's a high total as well. So I'll go around the 6.5 range again for that. Personally.
Okay.
All right, we're getting to our last two. I have my favorite. Jim has his favorite. All right, from a purely investment standpoint, you guys know I love fading awful athletes and awful teams. I'm going to take the Patriots alt line under 6.5 wins. I'm going to take it at minus 320. Normal line is 4.5. I don't care. If I bet $1,000 on this, I win $312. It's a 31% return on my investment. Let me go through Sharp Football Analysis here. This is the website that I go to for all their rankings. So Sharp Football Analysis has their quarterback situation ranked last. Their wide receivers and tight end situation last. Running backs 24th. Offensive line last. Head coach last. Secondary 7th. Defensive front 18th. This is a horrific team. Like, they are beyond bad. So I need them to not win 7 games. So I went through their schedule. Here are and these are reaches for potential wins here. Here's where I found that they may have a chance to win. Week 2 home to Seattle. Seattle cross country, maybe. Okay. Week 9 at Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to be bad. Week 10 at Chicago. What if Caleb Williams isn't that good? Home to the Rams in week 11, maybe if Matt Stafford's banged up. At Arizona, week 15, maybe. Home to Indy if Richardson is hurt. Home to the Chargers in week 17, LA team maybe playing in the cold. Home to Buffalo week 18 if the game means nothing. Those are my big stretches for games that they potentially could win, and they would have to win all of them to get here. I do not see how a Drake May, Jacoby Brissett, worst offensive line, worst skill position players team somehow gets to 7 wins. This is one of those where I lay a chunk and I set it and forget it, and I collect my winnings at the end of the year. Corbin, what do you think? Minus 320. It's expensive. I get it, but it's investment opportunity.
I'm going to have to give it like a 9.5. I love it for every reason that you just mentioned. The only reason it doesn't get a 10 is purely the price, but they're so bad, the Patriots. I like half of those games. I'm like, you could make, like, you're making a slight case, but I'm just like, no, it's just like Buffalo, like Cardinals, no, like Rams, definitely no. Like, I don't see them getting to 5 wins, let alone 6. So yeah, I love this play, quite honestly. So
I'd be shocked if they get 2 wins out of the division.
Yeah, I mean, but
look at that murderer's row that they're going to have to face.
And they don't get Miami like in the winter months, like at home, when it could be snowy and Tua can't throw the ball. So
I have a question though, Andy. Would you I know you talked about laying the price and just collecting the winnings, but does any part of you want to like parlay it with anything down the road as well, or is that not really your kind of vibe when you do this?
FanDuel would not let me parlay all wins.
Okay.
So I tried. I tried, but I'm okay with it. To me, this goes back to we keep picking on him, but the guy saying, why would I want to tie up my money for a chunk of the year? Well, this is why.
Exactly.
That right there, because your money is just sitting in your bankroll, collecting interest when this cashes at the end. So I did try. Maybe there are other websites or maybe other states let you do it, but I tried to do it. And it wouldn't let me parlay the all lines. So
yeah.
All right, Jim, here we go. Talk us through it here. He's got a new team, but you love him.
I'm hoping Corbin gives me a 10 on this one because I know it's he's focused on.
Come on, persuade me, Jim. Persuade me.
I'm playing to the crowd. All right, here we go. So Danielle Hunter, over 10.5 sacks, plus money. Normally, I despise playing a total on a player who just signs a big contract. But what I cannot ignore about Hunter is he was on a not very good Vikings defense, okay? An aging, slow defense with absolutely zero help on the defensive line when it came from a pass rushing perspective. We cashed on this guy week after week after week last year because he was motivated. It was a sack bonus in his contract. And just one of the best plays of the year was a 5% play on him to get a sack. And I think it was week 16 when he needed one more to hit his $1 million bonus. I think the last 3 were $1 million each. So his last 3 sacks, he got $1 million each from those 3 sacks. Now he's on the Texans. This offense of the Texans is scary. Absolutely scary. They are going to put up points. I think they're going to be playing with a lead the whole season. And if you're the head coach and the GM, what did you have to improve on last year? You had to improve your defense. The offense is ready to rock. CJ Stroud looks like the real deal. I believe he is. I think we're in for an amazing season with him. And Hunter now gets to play alongside first-round draft pick Will Anderson. They've got some depth up front. They don't have to play him 3 downs. He's not going to be out there on first down. Take a breather. Wait till 3rd and 10 when they're up 14 in the first and they know they're going to be throwing. This guy's going to have an absolute field day. Look at the division. I think they win the division. It health-wise, we've seen their opponents in this division not fare too well. I can most certainly, this is a low number to me. I have him at about 13. Throughout his career, we have 14 and a half, 14 and a half, 10 and a half, 16 and a half last year. The only year he was sub 10 sacks in recent memory was 2021, where he only played 7 games. So he's been healthy otherwise as well. I think playing on this defense is going to take him to another level. I would put it at 13 and a half, 14. So I was shocked to see this number at 10 and a half.
All right, Corbin. Danielle Hunter, 10.5 sacks for your Texans. What do you think?
Well, I really like it, but I can't score it a 10. I'm going to go 9.5. I feel like that's the second best play that I've heard here. Simply because, like, for example, Andy's 49ers playing. If somebody gets injured, you can have injuries and the play still easily cashes. Whereas this one's just a solo player. For all the reasons you mentioned, he will quite probably go over this total. I'm a huge fan of the Texans, as I'm sure we'll get onto in a second. But yeah, for that reason, I'm going to score it just less than the 49ers, but that's probably the second best player I've heard today. So,
nice.
All right. Great stuff. Great stuff. So, Corbin, we're going to get to your place here in a second. Guys, if you want to throw some questions there, we're going to get your questions after Corbin does his. I see some of yours. So we'll go over those here in just a second. All right, Corbin, this is right up the Danielle Hunter alley.
Yes.
So I don't even know what your play is, but I just know you're in on the Houston Texans and Dalton Schultz. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay. So both for basically the same reasons. I think the Texans are going to kick ass this year. So there's multiple ways in which I am going to play the Texans. Firstly, I'm going to play them at least for the first 7 or 8 weeks, quite honestly. I think they're going to cruise. Their win total was at 9.5 wins at minus 145. I have already played that. And then they're minus 190 just to make the playoffs. So quite honestly, their offense I think is going to fire on all cylinders. So obviously got Diggs this year, got a new running back. Their offense is just so stacked. And what you have to remember is they had so many injuries during the season last year. There are times where Tank Dell was injured, times where Nico Collins had injuries, and they were relying on guys like Robert Woods. And we all know how that ended up going last year. He's shocking.
What good for us?
Obviously Mixon in the backfield now. I feel like he's going to give them a good rushing attack. You mentioned Danielle Hunter, defensive player. I think that's going to really help shore up their defensive issues. The one counteract to my own point that I have is that they are playing 7 playoff teams this year. Their schedule looks a little harder than last year, but when you factor in how much I think Stroud has improved throughout the year, his confidence growing, him getting on the same page, all these players in the wide receiver room, if they stay healthy, they have just so many options that even if 1 or 2 get locked down, he can just go to his 3rd or 4th option. It's still quite a strong player. The reason I'm going to play them on the money line or by spreads for the first couple of weeks is I really like their fixtures the first 6 or 7 weeks. It gets a bit harder towards the second half of the year, but by that point they may have already got to their 9.5 wins or close to playoff contention. They had quite a lot of close games last year, but again, with Stroud's improvement, the improvements in the offensive personnel, and actually their defense improvements, I think the games won't be as close this year around. But if it does, they have such a great offense for the shootout factor that I think they could rival quite anyone if it's just tit for tat and points. So that's what I like about the Texans. I don't know if you want to score that first or if I'll go on to my Schultz play.
Go with Schultz.
So Schultz's line is 525 receiving. He's gone over that in 4 straight seasons, although obviously 3 of them were with the Cowboys. He averaged 10 yards per reception last year, which I really love. He has lots of options to take the coverage away. You look at the big names, like if they double team Diggs or Dell or Collins, that he could quite easily sneak under the radar. I feel like he's going to be a great safety blanket for Stroud. This is such a low total, and he has such a good record of his health record. He rarely gets injured. He's going to be out there nearly every week, and I think this is a great play at such a low total with a quarterback that I love. So
I'll go first. It's tough because I'm a Colts fan, and I will tell you I went from this was such a bummer that the Texans drafted Deshaun Watson and he was awesome at first, and I was like, man, mother, we Colts get to deal with Deshaun Watson for the next 10 years, and then he was out of here. We were
Mhm.
like, hey, we got rid of awesome Deshaun Watson. Now we get CJ Stroud. That we have to deal with for the next decade. Damn it. I like your Texans' futures better than Schultz. There's so many weapons um, that those wide receivers are just deadly. I like Schultz. I think he's going to catch like a decent amount of touchdowns. I could see his touchdowns going over and his yards just being a little bit just with all those. Diggs is going to demand catches, and so he'll get attention. And then Collins and Dell are just going to get like catches because they're wide open the whole time. So Schultz might be the odd man out for yards, but I think he's going to be a dynamite threat once he get inside the 10. I'm with you on the Texans. I like them early part of the season. Like you said, what a great coaching hire they made. So yeah, it's kind of a little bit of a public play, but it's right. And Tennessee sucks. The Titans are terrible, and Jacksonville is going to be overrated again
Yeah.
because they just always are. And if Richardson isn't throwing the ball well or gets banged up again, the Texans are going to waltz to a division title. So I'll give you a 7 on that one, Corbin.
Thank you.
So Jim, what do you think?
I actually think the Texans to make the playoffs at minus 190 is probably going to end up in my account after Corbin just brought it up here. That's probably my favorite thing you said out of everything.
Thank you.
I don't see how they don't make the playoffs as a wild card team, at least.
Yeah.
I think they win the division, to be honest with you.
All right.
Schultz, I agree with the touchdowns. I do. I agree with. I think the touchdowns. That's where he's, I think, going to do more damage. Like you're saying, there's so many mouths to feed, and the yards. The thing is these receivers can break big plays, and you're going to lose a lot of the 3rd and 5, 3rd and 10 yardage to Schultz because Tank Dell and Diggs, they can take these things for 30, 40. And Stroud's going to be airing it out. Love the touchdowns. Love Schultz as a player. I think he was very under the radar last year. A lot of people made some good money on him. But yeah, love the Texans, man. Love the Texans. I like where you're going with everything. I would just go touchdowns. So I'll go a little higher than Andy and everything. I'll give you an 8.
Oh, thank you.
I like it so
Sucking
much.
up.
I'll give you that playoff minus 190. That's an 8. That's my favorite one.
Thank you. Can I go back and revise my scores from the last?
Nope, done. Nope, you already gave them out.
Now we know we all stand with each other. There you go.
Let's go over some questions here in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning in, by the way. Yeah, Nick, I know I started out with an over, which is very rare for me, but I was saving my Patriots play for the end. That was why. Chris obviously knows the Texas wide receivers, and it does make a great point. Worthy makes amazing catches, also drops a number of that's kind of his MO, like drops the easy one, but then makes like the circus catch. So he's one of those guys that is like going to be amazing for like TikTok and Instagram, like amazing highlights, but they'll just leave out the drops. So Bubbles McBride 5 touchdowns. I don't know what to make of the touchdowns. I don't know where they're going in Arizona. Like James Conner, like would score every single week for them. I love McBride, drafting him in fantasy leagues. I love his receptions. I just don't know how they use him once they get in close. I don't know who's scoring all the touchdowns for them. McLaurin 5+ touchdowns. I actually kind of like that one. Jane Daniels is going to make some really boneheaded decisions, but he's also going to make some amazing deep throws.
Yes,
and McLaurin should be the benefactor. I don't know if you guys have any opinions on McBride.
Didn't they just get rid of? I've forgotten his name. Who was the
Dodson?
Yeah, they just got.
They traded Dodson. Yeah,
I think that's going to be a huge positive for that play. I quite like that one.
I actually like the McBride touchdowns.
Okay,
Murray, he was going to Ertz a lot in the red zone when they had Ertz. He's gone. McBride is not, pushing 30, 5, 6, whatever Ertz was. I think he's poised for a bit of a breakout season. But again, that play hinges on Murray, right? We haven't seen him be able to get through a whole season and be consistent. So in a while. But down in the red zone, I mean, like you said, who they going to in the red zone?
You don't know what
Not
Marvin
even
Harrison. I mean, it was Connor. I mean, last year it was just
It was Connor.
the James Conner show once they got in close. So, but yeah, I love McBride. So Austin, going to the 49ers score a touchdown. He's looking at the same play with the Chiefs. Any thought on those? Yes. I go and I look at the winter games just to
There
see
you
if there's
go.
anything wonky. So here's how San Francisco finishes the year. Okay, so they're at Green Bay, but that's Sunday, November 24th. Unless something really crazy happens, I think they'll be fine. At Buffalo, December 1st. Those games are always like
Mhm.
kind of wild. And then after that, in December, they're home to the Rams, at Miami, home to Detroit, and then at Arizona. They have no tough snow games potentially. Whereas the Chiefs, they finished the year at Pittsburgh and at Denver. There's potential that and then even home to Houston, Kansas City could have an ice storm, and then the 15th of December they're at Cleveland. So there's potential that you have those wonky, weird weather games. And also last year, I believe the last game of the year they didn't need to start Mahomes, so Blaine Gabbert played, and they didn't score a touchdown with their backup in. Whereas San Francisco, they just throw any quarterback out there. The guys, throw. So I lean more towards the 49ers than the Chiefs for that one.
KC loves. I mean, Harrison Buckner. They have no problem having him kick 5 field goals in a bad weather game. They trot him out in 5-degree weather, and the guy hits it. It's just
Yeah.
they have no problem doing that. Andy Reid is no dummy. He'll get out of Dodge with a win.
And then Steven, Deshaun Watson to play under 8.5 games this season. That surgery he's coming off of is no joke. If he's not 100%, you're going to see him struggle mightily. We have him locked in under his passing yards total. We did that about a month ago. So, all right, guys, I think that is about it. What do we have up at Wager Talk? Just a real quick recap if you guys are still here. So we're up 148.4 units so far in 2024. Yeah, going really good. So make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the free Discord channel. We've got that free spreadsheet that is up for everybody. It's free download so you can track all of your bets across all your sports books. Absolutely fantastic tool that Hector was gracious enough, and it is a powerful thing to have in your arsenal. So you can check all your bets and see what's going well, what's not going well. And then this week's special, we've got our NFL Week 1 official pack that is up. It's got all the futures included, as well as all the plays that are going to be there for Week 1. Props are starting to come out, so we're getting excited about that. Just a quick recap of last week: 5-2. And we had 9 straight profitable weeks, but we already know we've locked in 10 straight profitable weeks.
That's right.
For this week. So absolutely kicking ass. So we could not be more excited about NFL college football season, the fall and the winter. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Corbin, great job on the rankings. I thought you did. Thought you did really good. I'm proud of you for only giving out one like perfect score. Like that was the key, is not giving out like
Exactly.
I'm very happy that it was mine. I just happened to notice it. It was mine. How about that?
Right, just need to change the scores. So move the
Already locked in.
49ers to
Once they've hit that spreadsheet.
We should have tallied them. We got to tally them next time. We'll see.
Absolutely.
That's the championship.
You guys should have buttoned me up and gone for a Packers pick, and I might have given you a 10.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I got to tell you, I do like. I talked with Kelly Bennett about this. I like Christian Watson over his touchdowns. They seem to think they fixed his hamstring issues, and that guy went over like
when he was
only
healthy.
playing like 9 games. Yeah. If he's even like remotely healthy, he's going to get over. You know what's so strange about your Packers wide receivers, Corbin, is I've done several fantasy football drafts. Jordan Love goes early, and then nobody drafts their wide receivers.
It's because we have like 4 or 5, and we have no idea who's going to be healthy or who's going to pop
Yeah, but
up.
they're going so late in drafts. Like it's like
pick one of them.
Some of these guys.
Christian Watson and Reed are the two that I look at. I think Dobbs is going to fall down the pecking order this year, quite honestly.
Okay.
I think it's going to be the Christian Watson show. So,
He's a guy that I've got my final draft on Wednesday, and he's a guy I'm like, you know what, I'm leaving with Christian Watson. I want a Christian Watson
Sounds good.
because even if I can get like just like 12 weeks out of that guy, he's going to be a steal. He's gonna
Yeah.
steal some. All right,
I
thanks
will
everyone.
be playing Rashawn Gary weekly though.
yes.
Oh yeah,
Rashawn Gary on the Packers. I think Preston Smith's a little long in the tooth, and if that offense is
Love
going to
it.
be as good as they're going to be, that Green Bay home field advantage with the crowd, Gary's the guy.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy.
See, if you had mentioned that one, I might have given you a 10, Jim.
I'm
Come
not-
on.
Listen, I want legit scores. I'm not fluffing any pillows here.
all right, thanks everybody for joining us. Don't forget to join the Discord, like and subscribe to the channel. Good luck on all your plays, and we will see you ever next time.
Take care, guys.
Yeah.